Hi, welcome to Legacy Parent Academy. I am Catherine Fagans, the Crisis Prevention and Intervention Specialist for KDISD, and I'm joined with my colleague Angie Kelly, who's the Safe and Supportive School Specialist. We are partnering with Leandra Henderson. Leandra is a Preventative Program Director with Fort Bend Regional Council and a Certified Prevention Specialist and Certified Community Health Worker. She conducts research on emerging youth drug trends and risk behaviors, providing training and guidance to schools, community organizations, and stakeholders to ensure preventative efforts are proactive and relevant. Leandra leads programs that promote character development, life skills, positive youth outcomes, helping students build resilience, make healthy choices, and thrive in a safe and supportive environment. She's a graduate from University of Houston. She brings both academic knowledge and hands-on experience to her work in youth and families. So today's session is on the truth about teen vaping, the risk, realities, and red flags. Let's listen and learn about the real risk of vaping, how to recognize common warning signs, and practical ways to talk to your child about saying no when offered a vape.
All right. Good evening. Again, my name is Leandra Henderson, and I am the Prevention Program Director here at Fort Bend Regional Council. I want to thank KDISD for allowing me the opportunity to come in and educate parents, caregivers, and the community as a whole. My whole mission and purpose in my job is just to get people informed. That way they can raise healthy and resilient youth. So today we're going to be talking about the truth about teen vaping. We're going to be looking at the risk, the realities, and the red flags. So on the agenda for today, we're going to talk about what is vaping. We're going to look at what's in a vape device. We're going to look at some vape devices that are on the market right now that are pretty popular amongst teens and young adults. We're going to look at why teens vape. Because sometimes we just think it's black and white, but it's a lot more issues that probably come around that. We're going to look at their access to vapes. We're going to look at how social media plays a part on kids in their access to vapes and also their curiosity to vape. We're going to look at the red flags and warning signs, health risks of vaping. I'm going to also share some resources and help for education, and then we're going to wrap up from there. So to go ahead and get started, we're going to talk about what is vaping. Vaping pretty much is the act of inhaling and exhaling an aerosol that is produced by an electronic device. That could be an e-cigarette, that could be a vape pen, that could be a mod, or it can be a pod. Well, that liquid is heated up and it is expelled out through the electronic device. Some of those ingredients are usually nicotine, flavorings, and THC, plus 400 plus other chemicals. So what's in a vape? Number one thing that's going to be found in majority of the vape pens that are on the market is going to be nicotine. As we know, nicotine is highly addictive and it harms the teen brain development. Science has already shown that our brains do not stop developing until our mid-20s. And whenever you add nicotine to that, it alters their brain functionality and composition. What's also in a vape are flavoring chemicals. They are safe to eat, but they are unsafe to inhale. Another thing is going to be propylene glycol and glycerin. They use that to create vapor, but it irritates the lung. We've heard of the term popcorn lungs, and popcorn lungs is diacetyl that is a waxy kind of substance that can attach and get caught up in your lung walls where it can cause pressure on your lungs. And like if you think of water and oil mixing, it doesn't mix, and that's kind of what happens in our lungs when they are taking in that propylene glycol. What's also found in vapes are going to be THC plus unknown substances, especially in illicit cartridges. Now, what they are doing, they are making mushroom vapes as well. So not only are they could get THC, they can also get mushrooms, which is a psychedelic. What else is found in vapes are going to be heavy metals such as nickel, lead, tin, and we all know that those are harmful. How I like to explain that to kids so they can kind of get a better idea of how that attaches to the lung. If you take an aerosol can, because whenever you are vaping, it mimics aerosol, and when you spray it in the air, you always see these fine particles floating. Well, when a teen vapes, those fine particles, which are composed of heavy toxins and metals, they float around in your lungs and they get trapped in there, which causes damage. So the bottom line here is it's just not harmless water vapor. It's a chemical aerosol that can impact your brain and lung health. I want to go ahead and show you a diagram so you can kind of understand the impact. And I try to tell teens and explain to parents is that don't get taken in by what big tobacco companies are putting out or the misinformation that they are seeing on social media. Because a lot of ads claim that e-cigarettes or vape devices only emit water. But here on this diagram, you can see a ton of chemicals that can be found in vape devices. Uh, like I explained earlier, lead can be in there. Cadmium, which is what they use in batteries. And we all know anything that's found in a battery is not good for our health. And so when teens are inhaling that, that is putting deadly toxins in their body. Acetone. Uh, Whenever we're cleaning our nails and we accidentally put our fingers in our mouth, that acetone taste is pungent. And that's the same chemical that is getting inside of our body and is trapped in there in this thing, which is causing adverse health effects. The liquid nicotine is also in a vape device, and liquid nicotine can be more potent than just regular dry nicotine that you can find in your normal cigarettes. But the toxin that is most harmful in there that a lot of people don't realize that could be in a vape device is formaldehyde, the same ingredient that they use to embalm deceased people. Those things can be found in a vape device. So it's not just as simple as what they want us to believe. It's a lot more deadly substances and chemicals found in vape devices. So now I want to look at some of the vape devices that are the most popular amongst teens right now. Um, and we're going to look at those. So the first one that you see up in the corner is a vape device. And as you can tell, they didn't put a game on the front of it. And that is strictly to entice young buyers, teens, where they can vape and play games as well. Uh, then you have Elf Bar, which is one of the most popular vapes that teens are experimenting with. You have Esco bars. You have the Zydeco, and Zydeco is a THC cartridge vape. So you know it's going to have THC in it, and it can either come in indica, sativa, or it could be a hybrid blend. The problem with the THC vapes is a lot of times kids don't even know that they're smoking a THC vape. They just think it's a regular nicotine vape. And then they find themselves in a world of trouble because either they have experienced unwanted side effects or they then got in trouble having a vape on them. And then law enforcement finds out THC is inside that vape and then they can face legal trouble. You have Treehouse, Pineapple Express. Uh, if you are not, if you don't have that trained eye, then you would not know that's a THC vape. But Pineapple Express is a common name of a marijuana strand. So if you don't know that, then your kid could be consuming a THC vape device. Then you have Views, and then I have some here too that you can see. You have a juice bar, which is a popular vape amongst teens. And then you also have the Pulse, which is also popular amongst teens. These are going to be popular choices simply because they are cheap. You can probably find these disposables vapes online at convenience stores or wherever for roughly around $15 to $20. So a kid can easily save up some money and be able to purchase a vape device. So I want you to become familiar with what's out there, and you'll be able to recognize some of these. That way you can be more proactive. Next, I want to go ahead and look at what we call hidden in plain sight. And what that is in today's drug culture, they have made it easy for teens to be able to conceal vapes or whatever in everyday items that parents would just turn a blind eye to or not know. And they could be in secret compartments. So here on this picture, I have it looks like Arizona tea. It looks like a Coke can. It looks like an air freshener, but those are all hollowed out fake compartments where kids can hide their vape devices inside of there so it doesn't, so parents won't be able to see them. Um, and whenever you pick them up, it feels like it's a Coke. It feels like it's a Arizona green tea. So a lot of parents just set it back down, not investigating because marketers have done a good job of making it easy for teens to be able to hide these things. Another way that they are hiding vape devices are through products that look like everyday items. On this picture, I'm showing you some of the hot trending items that teens are using to be able to conceal vape devices. You have a cell phone case that is actually a vape device. You have highlight, which looks like a normal school supply. It looks like a highlighter, but it's actually a vape device. One of the most popular ones is the hoodie, where when you bring out the drawstrings, it's a vape device where the little plastic piece would be, and the youth can just put it up to their mouth and easily put it back out down, and it could be undetectable, especially in the classroom or at home or in the park in the community, because it just looks like a normal sweatshirt. Then you have a coffee cup, and where the spout is at for you to be able to take a sip of your coffee, that's where you would inhale the vape. Then you have what we call a Benjamin. It's a pen, and it writes as well too, so it looks just like a regular school supply. Then you have a key fob. The tip up there is the mouthpiece for the vape, and then you have lip balm. That's just also a vape device. So I'm going to show you some of the ones that I have here that kind of help for you to see it. I do have the chapstick, and when you look at it, it just looks like the chapstick like you see on the thing. But when they add it, they can add their disposable piece right here at the top. And this particular vape device, this is one that they would use to add THC liquid because of the clear chamber where they could add their dab or their wax in there. And they can easily just and put it back up. And if someone's not paying attention, because it's used to trick so you won't pay attention to normal everyday items, it just looks like a regular lip balm that you would see. And then this is the Benjamin. It looks like a regular pen, but when you take off the top right here, it's a vape device. They will just inhale from here. And this is a rechargeable one, so they'll just take out the cartridge when it's empty and use a refill, and they still have it to use. And then you have one that looks like an asthma inhaler. You just pop off the lid, and that's the vape device. Put it right there. It looks like someone is just taking out, their asthma medication. But you can see that they have purposely designed items where they could be concealed. The last one that I would like to show you is the smartwatch. This is a vape device. Easily wear it on your wrist. All they would do is pop this part out, and then that piece is a vape device. So again, tobacco companies and marketers have gone above and beyond to be able to hide and conceal this. And what I always try to explain to parents is adults are not trying to hide and conceal. If they're old enough to make their own sound decisions, so if they wanted to purchase a vape device, They could just purchase one straight out. But because they are trying to make it look like everyday items or other items, they are strictly manufacturing these to target young adults and teens where they can hide and conceal from parents or their caregivers. So now what I want to go into is I want to talk a little bit about why teens are drawn to vaping. To look for the red flags adults that we just can't afford to miss. And once we understand why vaping is appealing to teens, then we can do a better job of kind of meeting them where they're at and getting them the help that they need if they are struggling with mental health. We can have those difficult conversations with them so we can let them know to inform and educate them. Uh, with me working with teens every day in my research out in the field, one of the main reasons why a lot of teens that come in to me, they're coming in because they're vaping, and they will always cite it was mental health, anxiety, or stress. They are trying to calm their nerves. So, the biggest thing that I want to stress to parents and caregivers is if your child is struggling and they'll tell you that they're struggling, I advise you to get them professional help because if not, they will find themselves self medicating and they will find themselves medicating on a vape device. And a lot of my kids will call them dopamine sticks because it increases their dopamine in their eyesight right away to help them feel better. So if you know your kid is struggling with mental health or they're complaining that anxiety or their stress is high, have that talk with them, get them some help where they don't turn to vaping uh, to self medicate. Another reason is just sheer curiosity. They see it on social media every day. They see friends doing it. They see family doing it. They see it in advertisements. So they just want to see what the flavor is. What's the hype behind vaping? Why is everyone using it now? And it's just piquing their interest. So they turn to vape just to be able to try it out. Another reason why it's the influence of social media. I cannot stress enough how powerful social media is. Uh, Whenever a kid opens up their TikTok or they open up their Instagram, I can guarantee you it's going to be an influencer, it's going to be a friend, it's going to be some kind of advertisement for a vape device or a THC card is something there. So they see it. They also see their peers sometimes using it on social media. They see viral TikTok trends on social media that includes vaping, doing vaping tricks. So it's right there in their face. Uh, and then the like and the share button on TikTok and Instagram, it's going to put that right in the forefront for them. So social media plays a big impact on why teens are drawn to vaping because it has glorified what it is instead of showing them what vaping really is and the ugly side of vaping of how it leads to addiction. Another reason why they're there using is peer pressure and acceptance. As parents, caregivers, school officials, we can teach peer pressure all day long. But when they are caught in the moment and they don't want to miss out, what I call it is FOMO, fear of missing out. Sometimes they give in to their peer pressure when they know better. So we just have to keep reiterating the message that it is okay to say no. It's okay to walk on your own path. Uh, Next reason why they're drawn to using vape devices is it's easy concealment. I have just shown you all ways that they can easily conceal a vape device without detection. Uh, so they can easily hide it in their backpack. They can easily hide it underneath their mattress. The other reason why it's easy concealment is because once you blow out, once you inhale the vape and exhale it out, that smoke cloud only lasts for roughly 5 seconds and smell it doesn't have a pungent smell. It smells fruity. It smells like it can smell like cereal. So they can easily do it and get away with it because It's not bringing attention. The other reason why kids are drawn to vaping and vape devices is the flavor. They are putting out flavors like pink starburst, Skittles, unicorn rainbow, rainbow sherbet, all flavors that are going to appease to the young market. So they want to be able to see what it tastes like, because that's what's being advertised. It has a nice taste to it. The other reason why kids are vaping is a false sense of security. Many teens believe, because they have received inaccurate information, that vaping is less harmful than smoking, when in reality, vaping is worse than smoking. Well, they're equally bad, but it's worse than smoking in the sense of that we have now found, and we can say that vaping has it can have hundreds of chemicals depending on the different vape devices, not just as easy as a lot of people think it is. You would have some people that may counter me and say, well, it's just the propylene glycol, the nicotine, and that's it. But a lot of people don't take into consideration the metals, all the electronic parts, all of those things that are needed to make a vape device. What I try to explain to people, when you think about it, a vape device must be charged. So essentially, you're taking a, a device with heating elements and you're heating it up and you're constantly smoking it, which it could overheat. And if it's overheating, of course, it's going to bring out toxins. Of course, it's going to bring out all those metals because they have to escape somewhere. And if it's in your mouth, of course, it's going into your body. So vaping is showing kids or teens the glamorous side and not the other side that comes along with it, and that's going to be your health issues. That's going to be addiction. A lot of teens feel like addiction is something that happens over time. No, addiction affects people at different rates. You could have someone that uses a vape device for a week and can become addicted, where you have someone else, it may take them 2 months. It's just not a chance that I tell kids that they are willing or should want to risk taking. So now I'm going to move on into, we're going to look at teen access. How easy is it for Tim to get a vape device? Sources have shown that friends are the top source of how youth can get their hands on a vape device. 32.3% of teenagers get e-cigarettes or vape devices from their friends. Uh, Sometimes you have some friends whose parents may work a lot, so they don't pay attention to what their kids are doing. Um, Sometimes you may have a friend whose parent or older brother have left a vape device just lying around, so that kid takes it and then takes it to school, and they'll resell it to another kid at school. So they're able to get it from a friend. Uh, then they attain them socially, and that could be buying it from friends, families, others, just people in the community. Then some of them buy them themselves, despite having age restrictions. With the emergence of all of these vape shops and smoke shops around town, because I'm pretty sure you can see them on every corner now, to be honest, even though they are governed, many of them do not follow the rules. You have some vape shops that hire 21-year-olds that are just in there for a job, and they don't do their due diligence of checking IDs, even though they're supposed to. So if you have a teen that looks of age and goes in there, or they know that 21-year-old, they can easily make that purchase. Uh, so that's sometimes how they get around the loophole. The other way that they get around it is from online outlets. There are over 15,000 dispensaries, online dispensaries, where you can purchase a vape device and it can come right to your door. Uh, you can also purchase them on Instagram. You can even purchase them on TikTok through the TikTok shop, and that vape device can come right to your front door. Uh, Another trend that's going around where it makes it easy for teens to be able to obtain vape devices or vape paraphernalia is that here in the Houston and surrounding area, we have had an emergence of pop-up shops. And pop-up shops are kind of like farmers markets, but it is for the sale of vapes, THC cartridges, dab pens, hookah pens, with a plethora of other things. At these pop-up shops, a teen can easily register to go to the pop-up shop via Linktree or Eventbrite, where they'll get a little barcode that they scan when they get to the pop-up shop, and it's a free for all. They can purchase whatever products in there. Because these pop-up shops are really illegal, there's no cop there checking ID. So as long as that person has some money, they're able to purchase these vape devices. And a lot of times, these vape devices at the pop up shops are not the nicotine free vape pens. They are actually THC vape pens and cartridges or mushroom pens and cartridges. Uh, so be mindful of things like that. Start paying attention to if you see these markets coming up. Uh, and just pay attention to what your kid is doing on social media. Look at their friends list. Look at who they're following. That will give you some insight. Uh, Other thing I want to share is, like I said, social media is a big outlet for kids to be able to purchase. And on social media, we have what we call online dealers or online plugs. Plugs are essentially modern day dealers. Um, and they'll post their product on their Instagram or their Snapchat or their TikTok story. Uh, and it's easy. It's as easy as a kid to be able to DM them and ask for the products that they want. A lot of times when they're asking for the products, they're just not asking for it by name, but they're using terminology, they're using emojis, they're using different things. Uh, but what the drug dealers are doing is once your kid places the order, the dealers offer delivery service. So your kid can easily run outside, grab the vape device, stick it in their pocket, run back in a matter of 2 minutes. Uh, so that's how easy it is now for teens to be able to get their hands on a vape device. I'm going to show you a video uh, from TikTok that will kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. There's no sound, so I'm just going to kind of explain to you what's going on. So this young lady purchased a vape device through the TikTok shop, and this is how it arrived in the mail. Just looking at it first glance, it looks like some candy, some eyelashes, some lip gloss, but that puff is actually a vape device. If you're a parent and you receive the package, and if you're a nosy parent like me, I'm going to open up the package. And if I would have just looked at it, I just would have saw eyelashes, lip gloss. I probably wouldn't have dug deeper because I'm just like, oh, she's just getting a really cute girly package, not investigating more to see it was a vape device in there. And they have concealed it where it will do the trickery by putting it with candy and other stuff like that. Whenever the packages come through the mail, it is not going to say THC Vape Shop. It may have a label from Pretty in Pink online stores, something like that, that really doesn't give away what's inside. So be mindful of that. So the quick takeaway here is most teens don't need to look far. Their social circles make access easier than what many adults realize. So now we're going to look at the digital pipeline, how social media shapes teen vaping behaviors. Uh, Many years ago, government made it illegal for companies to directly market to minors. Uh, And if they were caught doing that, they would be caught with a hefty fine. And I can tell you that they market it to minors on a regular and right up underneath our noses, and we didn't even realize it. So since then, the tobacco companies, they have gotten smart. So they have found loopholes. And I'm going to talk about some of those loopholes. Uh, One of those loopholes that tobacco companies have found or that they're doing to be able to market to underage is that they're using influencers. Research shows that teens will believe an influencer before they believe a scholarly article. Teens believe influencers are the gurus and they know everything. So these big tobacco companies will pay an influencer to, if they're doing a live or if they're doing any kind of YouTube show, or they'll pay the influencer to promote or either use their product in their live or on their Instagram feed, where it will shift business over to that company. It was their creative way of being able to put their product in the forefront without having to advertise. And influencer culture works. A lot of teens follow influencers. They're probably the one of the top paid people that are on Instagram and TikTok right now. So it works. Uh, Another thing that they are doing is that they're placing ads in digital spaces that they know that's being used by teens. Uh, they are also using the like, the share, and the algorithm. And let me explain that more. Uh, Anytime, say a youth is on TikTok and they are aimlessly scrolling, and say that they scroll by an ad and or a story, and at first it looks like just friends having fun, but at the end of the story or the ad, that's when they'll bring out the vape device and with some little cute trending saying. And by that time, once you've that kid has looked at that video for a number of seconds, that is signaling to Instagram or TikTok, hey, this is content that they like to see. So I'm gonna keep sending them content like this. So it's pushing vaping ads or vaping material through those kids just because of the algorithm. Uh, if it's a funny or a trending TikTok that may have a vaping ad and the teen shares it with a friend, because they don't see it as a vaping ad, they just see it as funny content. Because they shared it, they're going to start receiving more ads, which is pushing the big tobacco's agenda of putting my advertisements in front of the young market. Uh, the other thing with the digital pipeline and social media is that they have normalized drug use, despite how we feel, or we try to safeguard our kids from seeing, but it's all over social media. You see a lot of ads where anytime friends are hanging out, they may have a vape device in their hand. You see imagery. One of the imageries that I want to show you now is if you look on the picture with the yellow background, you see two friends exchanging. That's a vape device. Now, when I look at this picture, I see friendship bracelets, I see silicone wristbands. So that lets me know that's a kid. I don't know any adult that's wearing friendship bracelets and silicone bands. At our ages now, we're wearing Fitbits and walking step calculators, and in some cases, we're wearing life alerts. We're not wearing friendship bracelets. So this is directly marketed towards youth. What they've also done, they have used Lotso from Toy Story, the little pink bear, to market. They use SpongeBob to market. All of these things are products that are targeted towards teens and even younger kids. Uh, and then the other problem with social media is they have easy access to information, but then that also means they have easy access to misinformation. And I can guarantee you they're getting more misinformation than they are getting useful information. Now I want to transition because I talked a little bit about the use of emojis and drug terminology. So I want to educate you as parents, school administration, and caregivers are some of the things to look out for. As I mentioned earlier, that a lot of times they do not just, hey, let me get a vape pen from you. They're using emojis, they're using different terminology. So these are some of the red flags that I want you to watch out for when looking through text messages or if you just see anything. Uh, on here are some of the common ones. So if you see the little electrical plug, that means plug. Again, that's code for a dealer. You may have a team that can ask their other friend, hey, who's your dealer, or who do you get your vape pen from? So what that team may type out in their text message, they may type out the pen with the plug, which means who is your vape dealer? That's your vape pen plug. And that kid can easily say, oh, it's Tommy in fifth period. To an unsuspecting parent, it seems innocent when it's really not. If you see the uh, the green battery, usually stands for it's a rechargeable vape device or rechargeable pen. So they can use the battery in conjunction with the pen. The leaves stands for marijuana, THC. Of this one for smoking. The feather is what they use for a Big Chief vape cartridges, which is one of the most popular vape cartridges that they use for vaping. So they'll just put the feather, which stands for Big Chief. Then if you see the shopping cart, that means cart. So short for cartridge. Uh, anytime you see fruits, they may be asking for either like a tutti frutti vape pen or the grape flavored one or the strawberry melon, something like that. Um, the emoji with the smoke coming out of his mouth or nose, that could either stand for the vaping tricks, it could just stand for smoking. The box, that means the package. A lot of dealers uses, they may put a card in front of the package to say, hey, I'm on my way to come bring your package, especially if the youth has purchased online. Some of the vaping terminology that is trending nowadays is cart, which is short for cartridge. Vaping is when they go hurry up and smoke in the bathroom, uh, especially during the school day. Pens, short for vape pens, and it could either be a wax or a dab pen. And with those are the vape devices that they usually use THC oil in, and it could be refilled. Uh, One thing I want to show you, I have an old jewel here, just so you can kind of also see this was considered a stick, or back in the day it's a stick, but back in the day they would refer to it as a pen too. I just want to take this out and show you how small this is, and the liquid will be in here. This right here alone is equal to a pack of cigarettes. So that's how much nicotine kids were taking in, and jewels were popular years ago. Uh, Another terminology is the Benjamin, which is the pen that I showed you before. Blinkers is a terminology that kids are using when they're vaping. And what blinkers are and what it is that on a vape device, uh, they have a little red dot. And once you inhale for roughly 10 to 15 seconds, that red dot starts to blink. That's overconsumption. But right about now, right nowadays, that's what they are doing. They're doing blinkers in order to intensify the effect, their feeling of euphoria, so they can get that feeling quick, fast, and in a hurry. And then they also use it as competition. Who can make their vape pen blink come on the fastest? And some, if they ask for a stick or a pod, which could mean a vape device, ghosting and cloud chasing are pretty much vaping tricks that a lot of teens are doing because it is trending on social media. A lot of people want to go viral. And no, even though it sounds idiotic to us, but a lot of teens are doing vaping tricks online in order to go viral. Or to learn tricks because they think it's cool to know the vaping tricks and then they'll post it on their social media. Chiefing is a vaping term. You have cart party when everybody's getting together and they're smoking. Uh, Zero Nic is a zero nicotine vape pen, so a kid may ask for a zero nic pen. And then tax. Tax is just a term when kids are asking for another kid, hey, can I tax your pen tomorrow? And that basically means, hey, can I just take a hit off of your pen? So next, I want to get you guys to stay alert and I want you to be able to recognize the red flags of youth vaping. How can you tell if your youth is vaping? If you smell unusual or fruity smells, I tell parents all the time if you have a 16-year-old boy just coming in from football practice and they are smelling like Fruit Loops and Rice Krispie treats, check it out because that fruity smell is not going to go with a 16-year-old boy fresh out of football practice. That's probably a good indication that they probably just took a hit of a vape device. So look for smells. That's going to be a good indication. Physical symptoms, if they are coughing, if they have bloodshot red eyes, if they seem lethargic, anything like that, look for those. Look for behavioral changes because sometimes when kids begin to vape, it does cause some mental health changes because some vape pens can do the counter of where they're thinking is calming their anxiety, but it could actually increase their anxiety. Look for any signs of depression because it can counter and do the opposite of what the kid thinks is supposed to do. Look for random chords and pieces. If something doesn't match or you can't find what it goes to, I'm going to tell you to investigate because it could go to a vape pen. Um, Signs of secrecy. Uh, if you see your kid hiding stuff or like you're walking in their room and they're hurrying up and putting something underneath their pillow, or if y'all are downstairs and I'll be right back and they run upstairs for a quick second and come back down, or just not opening up much, it could be a change in something. So investigate. I'm not saying that it's always because they're using vape device, but that's a telltale sign because they're trying to hide something. Whenever kids start to vape, it does affect their concentration. So if you see that their memory or their ability to focus kind of diminishes, that could be a sign, especially if you already suspect that they might be using. Uh, be on the lookout for unknown packages coming in the mail uh, that you know that they shouldn't be receiving. Open it up and investigate it. Look for any signs of respiratory distress. That could be wheezing, it could be shortness of breath, it could be an influx of asthma attacks, anything like that. And then also look for appearance. If they seem disheveled, if their appearance has gone down, anything of that nature could be a red flag. So pay attention to those things in your youth. Some of the hidden harms and the health risks that's associated with vaping. Number one, it's just highly addictive. Most vapes contain nicotine, and a lot of vapes now contain THC, and all of those things can lead to addiction. Uh, Working here in the substance abuse field, we see so many kids that have hid their vape use from parents, and I hear a lot of times that parents just didn't know or they thought that my kid would never do that. And for the most part, some of our kids would never do that. But it could happen. And because like I said, addiction can happen on the first use, second use, third use. So just pay attention. Like I stated earlier, vaping affects your brain development. It can It can interfere with attention, learning, mood, memory, and impulse control. They could have lung and health problems. One of the biggest things that are going to be the popcorn lungs, or it could be lung failure where they're having difficulty breathing. Biggest thing I want to stress here too for health red flag is mental health. Uh, that nicotine is linked to anxiety, depression, and irritability. So, again, despite the kids starting to use a vape, thinking that it's helping, it could actually increase it. Uh, and once it starts happening, psychosis can set in. It could lead to a plethora of other mental health issues. Uh, Other things is just the long term health effects. Vaping is linked to heart disease, oral health problems, and chronic disease. One thing that's not listed on here that I try to always inform teens and parents is a health risk that we don't think about. I've had I've had two kids uh, here that I have come in for they didn't had an issue with vaping, but their health risk was they had a vape pen that overcharged or that overheated that caused burns on their body because they were sticking it in their pocket. That's a health risk that come. Uh, tell I try to tell them never leave it in a hot car because it could explode. Never put it in your pocket. Never do any of that because it still is an electronic device. And so we've had it can account for burns on teenagers as well. So, and that's something that we don't talk about a lot. So, what I want to kind of lead parents with now is if you see the red flags, start the conversation. Uh, that means choose the right moment. Talk to them when you're calm and your teen is calm and you have privacy, where it is creating a safe space for that conversation. Lead with curiosity, not judgment. Ask open-ended questions. Ask them questions. Hey, has anybody ever offered you a vape pen? Hey, do you know what they look like? Because I've had a lot of students that have gotten in trouble for having a vape device and they have never smoked or used a vape device simply because they were holding it for a friend and because they did not know what it looked like. Because again, it could be hidden in one of these and they just think they're doing being nice to their friend and they then got caught with the vape device. So ask the questions of what's going on. Share facts with them. A lot of the information I have given you today, please share it with them so they know the risk. They know what's going on social media. They know who they can turn to for help. But most of all, keep the door open. One conversation is not going to do it. You have to create ongoing dialogue and let them know that the door is always open for us to be able to come and talk. If you see something in school that's happening, come and let me know about it. That way, you can, as a parent, you can help them and make a phone call to the school. But what I want to also share is when you talk to your kid, make an exit strategy for them. And an exit strategy means if someone offers them a vape, they know how to respond. I like to use my daughter in this. When my daughter was in school, in high school, someone did ask her, and her exit strategy was, "Do you know who my mom is?" We will both be in trouble if she found out that you offered me something and I use it. So that stopped the conversation because unfortunately all her friends knew her mom, who her mom was, and they knew I did not tolerate any of this. So an exit strategy for your kid could be, no, I'm on the football team and I have to make sure that I can pass my cardio test. Or an exit strategy could be, hey, no, my parents, they always check my backpack. So you placing your vape device in my backpack will get us both in trouble. So come up with an exit strategy where your kid knows how to respond if they are offered anything. Now, for resources and help in education, uh, I'm going to give you three different tiers. Uh, your first step of action is going to be district-based help. Uh, you can always go to your district administration at KDIC, go to your school principal, go to the counselor if you need help. Um, they have a safe and supported school program. Reach out to them. They can be able to share resources with you or get any kind of help or assistance that you or your child may need. Community-based help would be myself and my organization for being regional council. We are here to help answer questions, give guidance, uh, continue the conversation. If you just need, hey, how do I start a conversation of talking to my teen about saying no? MD Anderson is also a very good community-based organization because they have a tobacco cessation class and program that kids can participate in. But on a national level, you have you have SAMHSA, you have the Quick Start app, which goes over tobacco information, nicotine. You have Smoke Free Teen and 1-800 Quit Now, which are easily accessible at your fingertips to be able to give you, as a parent or a caregiver, give you some valuable information that you can be better equipped to handle if your child is using or you feel like they're using, or if there's a friend of your child that's using, where you can equip them with the right information. What I want to leave you with is now's the time to keep our kids safe. Prevention does not just happen overnight. Prevention is a collective effort through the parent, through the school, through community-based, agencies like myself. We have to have those conversations. We have to educate the public, but most of all, we also have to stand up and let our legislators know, hey, we need these laws that are stricter, that does not allow these tobacco companies to market to kids. We need to do some smoke-free bans, whatever it takes to keep these devices out of our kids' hands. Again, I want to thank you all for your time and your attention. Again, thank you to KDISD for allowing me to come in and share my knowledge with everyone. So now I'm going to
Yes,
turn it back over to them.
perfect. Ms. Henderson, thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us tonight. I know the information we heard can feel overwhelming. It's a little bit scary sometimes, but we also recognize that knowledge gives us power. The good news is that parents matter, okay? So our influence matters more than we sometimes realize with our teens and our youth. So those open conversations she referenced, clear boundaries, having a strong relationship with your kid and not being afraid to have those tough conversations are some of the most effective tools that we have as parents. So this presentation is being recorded tonight. So if you want to revisit it, we encourage you to rewatch it with your children. That could be the conversation starter for you. It will be posted on our website here in the next week or so. Our next and final installment of Legacy Parent Academy for the 2026 school year will be in April. We'll be partnering with T-Chat discussing anxiety in children. So we hope to see you then. But thank you so much again, Ms. Henderson and Fort Bend Regional Council, for sharing your expertise with us. And we hope everybody has a great evening. Okay, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.